Welcome to the Raj Katecha Show. Wind it back. Welcome to ALGO. This is the first time that we're actually calling this episode ALGO. So, as you know, it stands for a lot going on. It's an incredible show. And we're now going to have the intersection of multiple news stories and all the things that we cover from a Dubai perspective, but also from a global perspective. And also in the future as well, we're going to have people join us on the show that have a lot going on themselves. But we're so bullish on this brand that me, of all people, decided that it would actually be better to even scrap the Raj Katecha Show as in its entirety, as the sole name of the show, and now call it A Lot Going On, the Raj Katecha Show. So that's what it is. I hope you like the new artwork. Take a second to check it out if you can. And on today's episode, we covered a lot. The boys are back in town. Joining me as always is Vic.
What is up? Glad to be back. Glad to be back on the new show, ALGO. Looking forward to this year, man. Looking forward to what we got going on in ALGO for the whole year, actually.
And not only Vic, but really, I feel like it's more of a rarity to have this guy on now. But he's back, fresh from being mounted as one of the dragons in the Avatar movie. It's Alex. Welcome back, Alex.
What's up? It's good to be back,
Did you enjoy this show?
Yeah, of course. It's been a while since I've been on the podcast, so it's nice to have a chat with you guys and talk about what's going on.
What we covered this week as well, some really interesting stories. Wireless Festival, which we've known about for some time, coming to Abu Dhabi, has now announced probably 2 out of the top 10 hottest rappers in the world to be headlining. Alcohol probably going to be getting a little bit cheaper in Dubai. Ronaldo heading to Saudi Arabia. A whole bunch of tech layoffs and a whole bunch of new money being swirled around Dubai to boost this economy up. We've got some incredible content recommendations that span all the way from Netflix to MIT, and then some shout outs with some incredible people that we've been hanging out with. And then out and about in Dubai this week is just some phenomenal food and party recommendations. Plus we get to hear about Vic's trip in Bali. So I think that's got everything covered, guys. Hope you both enjoyed the show. Are you ready to get into it for 2023?
Yeah.
Run the music, Alex. Okay, well, we're back. It's the first episode of 2023. Full house, sort of, in the sense that we've obviously got Alex and Vic, as I mentioned in the intro, but Alex has forgotten his microphone. I don't know what to say. Alex, I feel like when Vic forgot his mic for one of the recordings, I feel like you cussed him out.
I definitely did. So if he wants to cuss me out, I'll have to accept it,
I'll save it for something meaningful.
All right, deal.
That being said, Alex has got a MacBook Pro, so the audio is going to be pretty good, but let us know if there's any ups and downs if you're listening in. But it's so good to be back. It's so great to be back on the podcast. Last one was the 26th of December. We closed out with my cousin Neil. Did either of you guys get a chance to hear that podcast?
Yeah.
What do you reckon? You had a good time, man.
Podcast. Yeah, I really liked it. It was very enjoyable to listen to.
He's basically, you reminded us of him, which is the reason why we hired you. So nice. Yeah, so it was good to have him here. And I thought for a second that you might even overlap as well, because he extended his trip. So on that podcast, he's talking about like he's going to leave. And then we went to Christmas dinner right after that podcast, which was amazing. Shout out to the team at Hotel Indigo. And then at that dinner, he said, I'm going to stay on for a few more days. So I thought there might be a chance that you'll overlap, but you didn't, because you landed, Alex, and hit one of the nicest places in the country.
Yeah, I landed in Dubai on the 27th in the morning and went straight to Abu Dhabi and to Zail Nurai Island on near Saadiyat. Met up with some friends for his birthday, and that was really good. Other than, the weather was horrible. Like, it was raining when I got there, so unlucky. But the day after, on the 28th, it was okay. Very enjoyable.
I've always said that Saadiyat's like maybe the most beautiful part of the country for me, but Nurai is more beautiful. So just explain to anybody listening what Nurai Island is.
So Nurai is basically an island, probably 20 minutes away from Saadiyat by boat. And it's a hotel type island, I'd say. You can also buy villas there, but it's mostly hotel owned. And it's basically like a mini Maldives off the coast of Abu Dhabi. It's really, really nice. amazing restaurants there, super nice pools, beaches, super nice.
So you chilled there for how many nights?
Did you take a villa out?
I was there for 2 nights.
Okay. What was your question, Vic?
No, what did you do? Did you take a villa out, you and your mates?
Yeah. My friend whose birthday it was had rented a villa for all of us.
Is it one of them ones that has the massive balcony, like this massive patio balcony, which you could fit like 100 people on?
Yeah, it's massive. It was pretty wild.
How many of you was there?
That's
Was this one of your rich expat kid friends?
Basically.
Okay,
but
nice.
we were 11 there.
Okay, nice.
Literally,
is that...
like,
Go ahead.
Sorry. I was just saying all my friends who were here came there. It was super nice.
Nice. Just quick question. I just know, isn't Pele dead? Did he not die the other day?
He just passed away.
Ooh, so that's worth something now.
Yeah, it is. But I never bought it for the intent to sell it.
Well, he's like, I never bought it for the intent for him to die.
No. No, but yeah, it's very, very nice jersey. I love it.
Nice. Did you meet him when you got that, or what happened?
No, I just bought it.
Okay, nice. Well, it's gone up in value probably 2 or 3 times. Speaking of which, in terms of this year, 2023, what's everyone's what's it called? New Year's resolutions? Vic.
I don't really have any New Year's resolutions. I don't do New Year's resolutions. I think it's a bum thing to do, frankly speaking, because it's just like you're just doing something because everyone else is doing it. The reality is everyone says, I want to get healthier. I want to do something in my career. I want to start this business. I want to spend more time with whomever. That's just my resolution throughout the whole year anyway. So nothing changes for me. I just want to get healthier. I want to spend more time with my, nearest and dearest, and just want to keep running the business in the best way we can. That's it. There's nothing else in my purview, to be honest with you.
Any short-term goals?
Actually, no, I tell a lie. This year,
he wants to stop lying.
Yeah, this year, I want to stop backtracking on what I say. This year, if I can, one goal of mine that I've always had, and I've struggled with because, I've struggled with like fitness my whole life, but, I think I'm on a good trend at the moment, is to maybe do something of a challenge this year, like a physical challenge, be that a Ironman or some kind of competition, or like one of those CrossFit games or something that kind of takes me above what I'm doing right now, but allows me to work towards it. So maybe some kind of extreme physical challenge.
What should he do, Alex?
Ooh, this is tough. I feel like Ironman's like a bit too high up there. I'd say maybe start with like half Ironman at least.
Start with Copperman.
Yeah, start with tin.
Start with cling film, man.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That I think I could achieve. But yeah, some kind of like something physical that allow me to create some consistency in my training, allows me to work towards something a bit bigger than just losing weight and getting fit.
When would you want that to be? Because
Q4.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah,
so like work the whole year towards it, and then at the end of the year do it.
Yeah, like October, November, that kind of time. Weather's good, do something outdoors, that kind of thing.
Cool.
You know what's crazy as well? Just before I got on this podcast, I'm just pulling it up on my phone now. But I actually found out that this year, and this is definitely a sign for me to not throw a party this year. This year, Eid, one of them here in the Middle East, lands on another holy day, which is June 26th. So it looks like my birthday, June 26th, Eid al-Adha. You get one day off on that Monday. So I guess it's meant to be like a long weekend. So even doing a birthday party on the 24th or the 25th in Dubai, so many people will be traveling that that's pretty much just going to be gone, Like there's literally no point in even doing a party, at least in the UAE. Could do one in London, I guess, or some other place.
And also you could potentially do one the week after, but then a lot of people start traveling because of school holidays right around then. So, that July the 5th kind of time is typically when people start traveling. like schools finish and stuff. So yeah, this it's always a bit tricky.
That's basically Vic saying he won't be there for your birthday because he'll be traveling within it.
Wait. Well, here's the thing. Actually, no, I got it messed up. I apologize. It looks like it says here, use 1 day and get 9 days off. So if you take off the 26th, which is a Monday, it looks like there's going to be holidays anyway from the 27th onwards. So 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th look like they're off. So if you take off the 24th of June, well, which is a Saturday. So if you're off effectively from Saturday the 24th, right through to Sunday the 2nd, it's going to be a big holiday. Well, anyway, it's looking like I'm going to be in New York that week anyway. What about yourself, Alex? What are your resolutions for this year? Other than remembering the microphone, you and Vic starting a charity where you encourage people to carry their tech with them.
I just hope one day Raj forgets his mic so that we can also include him in this conversation.
You're going to be waiting a long time, my friend. I stay strapped with. I have more tech than I ever need.
Fair. That's true. But in terms of New Year's resolutions, I was kind of the same as Vic. Like I always have the goals in like being healthier, working out more, like just like educating myself throughout the whole year. But I think one that I really want to do is, so as you know, the first 6 months of my internship, I was also doing a lot of drone work. And then in December, they banned drones in the UAE. So I didn't do anything for 6 months. And I just haven't gone back into the rhythm of flying and making content and everything. So that's one of my big goals of 2023.
With like a flagship project?
Sorry?
With a flagship project?
No, not necessarily a flagship project in mind. Just getting out there because I haven't flown my drone in a long time and I just haven't been just working on my skills on that.
Okay. Vic?
Can you shoot in Amsterdam? Are you allowed to shoot? So have you taken it with you to uni and all that, or?
Yeah, everything's in Amsterdam right now. I didn't bring anything back here from my.
So then potentially you could do something there, maybe like, over the campus or something like that. Maybe speak to the university about doing something. And
definitely. I definitely want to do something in terms of university project, maybe filming campus and everything. But I also just first need to get back out and fly and practice because it's been so long.
What is the law in Amsterdam when it comes to flying?
So in terms of law, you have to get a EU drone license for any drone under 1 kilo, which isn't too bad. And then any drone under 250 grams, you can fly without a license.
Okay, nice. So what's yours?
I have one that's over 250 grams and one that's under. So if I want to fly one of them, I'll have to get a license.
Okay, nice. And have you got that license?
No, I don't have it yet, but I'll probably do it once I'm back in Holland now.
Okay, nice. When's your birthday again?
August 25th.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you got time. You could do it around that time. Peak summer. Yeah. It'd be like super hot.
Yeah. No, I mean, the license doesn't take long either. I think it's just like a 3-hour course or something. So I can do it on any weekend or anything.
Okay, nice. Okay. Big changes. All right, wicked. I think for me, I literally not got one. I don't know. I mean, I think other than my New Year's resolution is just to, and it's not requiring much effort at the moment. Like I don't know if I told Vic what these deals were, but there was a whole bunch of like opportunities that were presented to me. They're basically getting to about one interesting opportunity a week, all of which I'd have probably said yes to last year. But I think my New Year's resolution is to continue to just say no to as much stuff as possible. We had a really good day today, right, Vic? We just like woke up and then separately, and then we just jumped on some Zoom calls and just smashed out some pitches and then did some creative work. So I kind of really like that, and that wouldn't have happened if I'd taken some of the meetings or some of the things that people are asking of me every couple of days. So I think my resolution is just to bring back my no year. And in 2013, that was my year of no. That's when I first mastered it. That's when I started literally like Googling what are the different ways you can tell somebody no, from direct and I haven't got time to mess about to polite and soft. And I think I'm just going to remaster that again so that I can get back on the road and, focus on some of my other priorities. Also, we were talking about this, Alex, earlier on the phone, also taking the 4 Ps on the road into markets where we've got like friendlies. So Amsterdam would be one, Australia would be another, potentially India, potentially East Africa. So yeah, that would be my resolution is actually just to do more of what's really good for the business and less of what's really bad for the business and for like my distractions, because we're basically ready to launch. You've probably seen, Alex, because you're like somewhat objective, subjective, like you just like kind of dip in and out. There's like progress being made now on so many different things. We're launching our course, our free version of the content strategy course for the My Friends, Your Friends community in the next couple of days. So that's going to be really interesting. And a whole bunch of other stuff going on. I mean, we've just changed the name of the podcast to ALGO because it feels like that's a brand that could sit alongside My Friends, Your Friends. I was talking to Vic earlier on. I was like, we have to basically take ALGO now from this kind of like, sometimes here, sometimes not kind of brand, and really move it next to Creative Content Agency, move it next to 4Ps, move it next to Love Soul, move it next to My Friends, Your Friends, and kind of complete that suite. What do you think of the ALGO brand? I mean, you were there, right? We came up with it kind of like, not came up with it together, but you were there in episode 1. But I really feel like it deserves like a long-term home. It's got a ton of potential, even from a merch perspective. As you can see on the new artwork, I'm wearing an ALGO jumper. And I got messages that people I tested the artwork with, and they were like, I want to buy that jumper. I was like, And everybody at some point's got a lot going on.
Yeah. I think also just ALGO has such a good ring to it. And it's like really hard to come up with a name that has a good ring to it. And ALGO is just one that like I found, at least when I first heard it, like really caught my attention. Like it's just super simple, but like I just really like the name.
Nice. Vic, are you cozy in the new name?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, this podcast is basically ALGO, and it has been for some time. It's not been the Raj Architecture Show for, a significant period of time. In fact, we refer to it internally as ALGO anyway. So to me, I'm already kind of married to the name as far as this kind of podcast is concerned. So, and then it also gives us as a team and our editorial team some kind of editorial parameters to work within as well. Whereas when it's like the Raj Architecture Show or anything else, we kind of have to like start thinking about, okay, well, how's it going to be? What are we going to talk about? What's the themes? But this has got this overarching theme, and we obviously have our sections that we cover. So as far as I'm concerned, it's been ALGO for a significant period of time.
Nice. Well, speaking of those sections, let's deep dive into the first one, the news. What's the first news story we got? Who's gonna pitch today? Who's gonna pitch off the docket?
I don't mind doing that.
Right.
Let's and then if I start to flail, then anyone can jump in. But the first one actually got announced today. We've spoken about Abu Dhabi for some time and the big moves that it's making, and it's just announced a huge move today, which is wireless coming out to Abu Dhabi on the 11th of March. So it's going to be in Yas Island, and I think it's going to be in Etihad Park. And Alex, just correct me if I'm wrong. It's Etihad Park is where they do the F1 concerts, right? It's the big outdoor green field near Etihad Arena and all of that.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, that is right. Yeah.
So this is huge. This is a huge space. And have you seen the lineup, Alex? Yeah. So
wild.
I'll just go straight off the dome, straight off the top, and go. The headliner is Travis Scott, which is a big get. And then the second line headliner is Lil Uzi Vert. So you really can't get bigger than that.
You can't, because Uzi's part of Rock Nation, and he's basically with Travis kind of getting cancelled post some terrible tragedies happening at his shows in the US. Uzi really stepped up and filled that vacuum and absolutely nailed it with I Wanna Rock, which you were there, right, Vic? You saw the DJs play that record a few times at Soul, and that record is one of the songs of 22.
It was huge. Yeah, like people went wild over that record. I mean, I've heard that record a bunch of times, but I've not heard it in a club environment like that. And they went off, man. Like Alex, you must be feeling that when you're out and about, right? That record.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I hear a good amount of Lil Uzi Vert, I'd say, out in the club and things like that. It's very good artist.
Yeah, so some of the other artists are Wegs. I mean, you guys probably know this better than me, but Wegs, Black Sheriff, Ali Gatey. I don't know these guys. Raj, you were talking about Young Stunners earlier as well, right? They're on the bill.
Yeah, they're I think they're part of they might be part of Coke Music Studio, but Wegs is one. I think he's out of Egypt, and also Divine is coming in from India. So what I will say is that they have one thing they've done with wireless, and I think that they they probably had their ear to the streets, is that they've programmed it really well. Like they've got like full MENA representation on the programming, and then to bring Divine in as well. So Divine, I think, was signed to Mass Appeal, was signed to Nas, but Divine is like the de facto like rapper in India at the moment. He would occupy the kind of space of like a Stormzy, but without necessarily being as big as Stormzy, because Stormzy is predominantly in a mono language market where everybody speaks English, so the whole kind of country can effectively get behind him. In India, you don't really have that option. But just to clarify as well, Vic, you're saying that Wireless was announced. Wireless had been announced for quite some time. Today they dropped the lineup, and it's interesting because Wireless was completely not front of mind. It was just like another thing that was announced last year, as you mentioned, as Abu Dhabi started to layer on franchises. I couldn't have told you this morning when Wireless was. Would it be on this side of the summer or the other side of the summer? I'm excited to see that actually it's going to be in just 2 months. I guess if you were here, Alex, you'd be there with
definitely
with an energy drink in your hand.
Exactly. If I was here, I'd definitely go, and I'm sure like all of my friends that I know from grades below that are still here, they'll all go.
Travis or Uzi, who's got you most excited, like on balance in 23?
I think Travis.
Still, right?
Yeah, because I've been to one of his concerts before, and it's just crazy. Like it's such an amazing experience, and like I would love to go see him again.
Is all kind of forgiven? Was there ever any like bad perception, do you think, with your like little group or whatever, with regards to like the way the concerts were handled in the US, where some people unfortunately died?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just there will be a lot more precaution that will be taken at events now that he's playing at, and I think that's needed and has been needed for a long time, because his concerts were always known to be crazy and wild. And yeah, I just think that like an extra layer of precaution is really needed at his concerts. And I'm sure he also knows that he needs to tone it down maybe a little now. And I think this might be, oh no, he's already done a show in London since he's gotten cancelled. And I haven't heard anything that went wrong over there. So
what's more exciting on balance? DJ Khaled and Friends in Riyadh, or Travis and Uzi in Abu Dhabi?
I think Travis and Uzi in Abu Dhabi.
I tend to agree, bro.
Because I also don't know if Lil Uzi's ever been to the Middle East.
Right.
I can't think of Lil Uzi performing in the Middle East before.
No. Well, what's interesting about Lil Uzi is if you mapped out his career and thought, how is Uzi going to progress, you'd think he'd probably end up doing the club scene. You know, if in the last 5 years you found Little Uzi coming out here every 3 to 6 months, the way that a Fat Joe would, you wouldn't be surprised, or a Buster would. You wouldn't be surprised. You'd be like, okay, yeah, that's about right. But he's really kind of stayed out of the market, you know, and not really like set it off. So I think it's going to be interesting to see him hit that stadium status. And we've lost Alex.
We've lost Alex.
All right,
he'll come back. On that, he'll come back. And just on that note, you know, in March, there's another huge festival that's coming back. It was cancelled in 2020 because of the, you know, everything that happened. But I think it was March 2020 Ultra Abu Dhabi. So they've announced it again to come back this year on the 4th and 5th of March. So only a week before Wireless is Ultra Abu Dhabi. Now, we don't know the lineup yet, but the lineup for 2020 was Afrojack, DJ Snake, Eric Prydz,
Seth,
Major Lazer,
Seth Troxler.
What's that?
The DJ.
Oh, right. Sorry. Yeah. Major Lazer, Nick Romero, Seth Troxler. Yeah, Seth Troxler, Sasha and John Digweed. Like huge names. Now we don't know who's coming back for this particular one yet, but yeah, that's a week before. So within the span of, you know, 7 days, they're having 2 massive festivals in the same spot in Etihad Park. I mean, Abu Dhabi is not playing, man. Like 2023, they are not playing. Alex, just whilst you were gone, I was just saying that Ultra Abu Dhabi is been announced to come back as well, right? Because it was cancelled 2 years
Yeah, it
ago.
was cancelled, yeah.
And the lineup was huge then. We don't know the lineup for this one, but it's a week before Wireless, 4th and 5th of March, my birthday, actually, my birthday weekend.
I'm sure the lineup will be huge for Ultra as well. It has to be.
Yeah. I mean,
are we gonna get some
say,
fluorescent headwear for your birthday then and go down to Ultra?
yeah, let's do it, man. Let's take
Do you want to actually do it?
Down. We could do, man. We could do. Tickets
Do you
start
guys
from
think you'll go
315 dirhams.
I don't know. You know, so Seth Troxler's mom, Heather, is a friend of mine. So I texted her last week. I was like, you know, what's happening? Are you coming? And she said, no, I'm gonna be. Well, she's a grandma now, so I don't know if she's gonna be like on baby duties because I think Seth had a kid. But I met Seth, very nice guy. Had lunch with him when we did the deal with Eric and Jeff to bring It's the Real. So Seth's mom's restaurant hosted us. So big shout out to them. Okay, good. Well, that's exciting. So Abu Dhabi is like moving and grooving, not one to be outdone. Dubai had a big announcement as well this week.
Yeah, I mean, Dubai has axed the 30% tax on alcohol sales with immediate effect. So the report is that it's a trial period for a year. It started on January the 1st. So, as you know, just for context, you know, alcohol in the UAE in general is very expensive. And a big part of that reason why it's so expensive is because there's a huge tax that the restaurants, the hotels, all the outlets that sell have to pay. And that's about that's 30% tax that they have to pay on the alcohol. So now Dubai has specifically announced that they're doing this trial period for a year, where during the time, restaurants, bars, and hotels that purchase alcohol in Dubai don't pay the 30% tax that they've done in previous years. What they haven't said, or what I can't see, is whether there's no mandate to pass that on to the consumer. The goal of this, of course, is to attract more people because, you know, it's known that alcohol is expensive here. So they're trying to attract more people, more tourists, and obviously for more people here to be able to go, okay, well, at least alcohol isn't too expensive to buy. So there's no mandate from what I can see to pass it on to consumers. But what I'm hearing from people in the industry and people I know is that a lot of places are. So you see like MMI and, you know, these like off licenses or these liquor stores that are passing it on. Raj, what have you heard about it?
So when we were working together, I don't know if I told you, but you know, I'm on a group chat because I'm actually doing an alcohol deal at the moment. And on that group chat, it said, let me pull it up. I should have remembered. There we go. On the group chat, it said, I am busy doing the design of the menu and changing the pricing strategy with the removal of the alcohol tax. So I can't say what the deal is and who it's in between, but I can tell you that there are managers across the city right now that are rejigging their menus. And actually, what's even funnier about that is my friend who's the GM of that bar already has, on balance, in my opinion, the best drinks in the city at the lowest prices. So you won't get better drinks at lower prices. You'll get better drinks and you'll get lower prices, but you will not get drinks that good at those low prices. I mean, we're talking about like this guy sells incredible wines for 25 dirhams a glass for 4 hours a day. Yeah. Incredible wine. Like, you know, I'm a bit fussy when it comes to that, but I think it might be a Shiraz Merlot mix, but anyway, it's damn good. And they're revisiting it. So yeah, we definitely see that coming. I'm also privy to a lot of other information as well in the industry. And I think I can't say what it is, but there's going to be a ton of innovation in and around alcohol brands. Namely, if you see nothing else, if you follow MMI on Instagram, they're openly advertising like alcohol packaged goods. Like they're actually like showing bottles on shelves being picked up with the pricing, which you would never see here before. I mean, I was in an alcohol campaign for Shivas, and you would never ever see any. Remember, Vic, when we used to run Capital Club, we couldn't put liquor bottles in the content.
Yeah, we had to be really careful, but that's not new. JMK sellers have been doing it forever.
Who are they?
There's some like, you know, liquor store JMK sellers, and I follow them on Instagram, and they're putting out all the latest TikTok trends and everything, and they've got alcohol everywhere.
But
it's not hidden at all.
Are they based out of Abu Dhabi or where are they based out of?
I don't know. Actually, that's a good point. I don't think it's Dubai. Might actually be outside of Dubai. Yeah.
Yeah. So if they're just probably some like off-brand third-party retailer, we're talking about MMI and A&E here.
Yeah,
like
true,
owning it
true.
and putting it on their Instagram. So it's becoming a lot more explicit. The economic model I'm trying to run in my head is, if they've given with one hand, which is they've given the tax, and they obviously want word to get around the world this year that, hey, alcohol's super affordable in the UAE, or certainly not more expensive than you'd pay in an A market somewhere else, like London or somewhere. Word's going to get around. The question is, do you bring that tax back in 12 months? And if you don't bring it back, what else happens in the market so that tax can be collected elsewhere? I'm sure. I know. The majority of people in the UAE, I would say, do not drink for economic or social or cultural reasons. The people that do drink definitely have created a real industry here. Albeit I'm sure those people are less than probably 40% of the country, 30% of the country, but enough to build an economy around it. But I just wonder where else what's happening that's going to replace that revenue, or does nothing need to replace it because the economy is going up?
Right, exactly. So, a big draw of this is not just the people that live here, because, we've kind of accepted what it is. It will, most people that live here will be like, all right, well, we're happy to maybe buy a couple more drinks or go out once more or whatever it might be. So, the compound effect of that is huge across a, population and a number of times. But I think this is much more to attract tourists, tourists, they, in order for them to hit their targets, and we can, maybe move on to that in a moment, the next story. But in order to kind of hit any kind of targets that they want, they need people. This is a people run country, whether that be tourists, whether that be people that come here to live and work. They need people. They want to grow their population. They're not going to grow it through the kind of the native population.
Well, it's going to be a mixed model approach, right? It's going to be yeah. So that's probably the best. But to your point though, Vic, you said about residents, but in line with this, as a kind of B story to it, you can now get your liquor license for free. So there used to be a charge and some admin, and now you can just walk into an MMI or A&E store with your Emirates ID, and you can get it for free. I don't know how long it takes to issue, but that's a real saving in consumers' pockets. And if we do go into a situation where cost of living and other costs do go up, and I'm talking about pasta, avocado, yogurt, cereals, the usual stuff. If those things start to become more expensive, having a bit of a saving on alcohol is going to be welcome in households where people drink. But in addition to that as well, it's also going to lean into retail, and retail tends to spike in tough economic conditions, because then you start saying to people, you know what, I'll host this week, you host next week, you host the week after. We don't need to go to a bar. We don't need to spend all that money on service charges and taxes and fees. Let's just go ahead and, do more house parties. So that's something that will really, one of our friends, Sal, who's on the editorial team, threw a massive housewarming party a few months ago. And his bill was crazy at retail. And if you got a 30% saving on that, that might make you, because your budget's your budget, you can now afford to spend, 25% more on, you're going to get 25% more alcohol. You can throw a lot more parties at home. You can get folks over and really pop some bottles.
Yeah, a few more barbecues going.
Exactly. Yeah, which we're waiting on. Have we had a winter barbecue with you this year?
We had one in November.
Yeah, true.
But that was it. Yeah, and then we were away for December, but then February now, because dry January.
True.
Both partaking in that.
Looking at dry as well. Like there's been pretty dry if you're in tech right now. A bunch more jobs were getting laid off this week. Amazon cut 18,000 jobs, and Salesforce cut 10% of its workforce. So combine that with what's happening over at Facebook and other tech companies. Google as well, I believe, has had a layoff.
Yeah, Google's had some.
The white collar recession is in full effect.
Yeah, look, I think, when you look at Amazon, 18,000 as a number is high, but in proportion to the number of staff that they have, which is 1.5 million or some crazy number, it's not a huge number. But it looks like they're getting rid of, most of these tech companies are just bloated. They've realized that, they're spending a lot of money where they don't need to, which is typically that kind of middle to kind of slightly upper management. And that's what's getting cut. I can't say which company out of the two or what department or anything, but I know a couple of people that have been affected by one of these companies' cuts. And, they are relatively well paid, middle to upper management.
Yeah.
And frankly speaking, in the grand scheme of a oncoming recession, disposable, not them as individuals, but their kind of job, because you've got the people at the very top that are making all the kind of key strategic decisions. You've got the people kind of underneath them that are doing the actual work, quote unquote. And this kind of middle layer tends to be the fat. And that's what they're doing. They're just cutting the fat out of their bloated machines, which is unfortunate. But what I would say is that I think that this is going to give rise to, or it's going to help boost the freelance stroke entrepreneurship stroke gig economy, because all of these guys, educated, skilled, experienced, there's no reason, if they've got the kind of fortitude and willingness to do it, they could go out and start hustling and start doing freelancer work, or they might be designers or whatever it might be that their skill is. They might be able to then just start flipping that and then really actually have maybe more of a better life, more of a kind of lifestyle based job, maybe not earn as much, but compensated by the time that they get back, or the no stress of the hitting the objectives of the company, etc. So I think that's a positive thing for that part of the economy and part of the job market. But let's see, people need to have the willingness to do it.
The people that have been affected that are they here in Dubai?
No.
Okay. So interestingly, because I know you wanted to circle back to Dubai after the last story, but I just wanted to throw this in here because I've just kind of closed the loop in my head, is that this week also there's a lot of noise in the industry here in Dubai about the involuntary loss of employment insurance scheme, where employees that are eligible are able to make a literally micro contribution to an insurance scheme that will allow them to earn 60% of their average basic salary that they earned in the 6 months prior to the loss of their employment. Now, this is something that you need to go out and Google. This is something, go do your own research. But basically, there are two categories. One is that if you're earning less than 16,000 a month dirhams, then you can pay 5 dirhams plus VAT per month. And in the event that you've got involuntary loss, you can get up to 10,000 dirhams per month, which you can claim for up to 3 months. Remember, that again is 60% of your average basic salary. And then category B, if you earn more than 16,000 per month and you're paying an insurance of 10 dirhams plus VAT per month, you could earn 20,000 per month. So it's really interesting as well, because you don't normally get a safeguard, an economic safeguard in this market. It's something that, I got asked a lot during COVID, because in the UK, they had these furlough schemes, right? Where the government coughed up and said, okay, we're going to, in the UK, it was covering a percentage of people's salary as well. I believe it was 80%. And I'd get phone calls here in the UAE being like, what are they doing for you? And I was like, well, that's not really the rules of engagement over here. That's not the way that the economic system is set up. And now this is a real blindside one. You're actually looking at government support, government stepping in. And it's really interesting, because if you've got a job and you lose your job, typically prior to 2020, there's typically a countdown that starts, which is 30 days to get resituated. Now, you've not really got that issue. You've got a bit of money coming in. I don't know if naturally you'll be able to maybe even, I don't know if what they've spoken about when it comes to keeping your visa, should you lose your job. But if the company allows you to keep your visa for a little bit longer, well, you're kind of quids in,
You also have the 60 days now, right? Is it 60 days or 90 days on the visa that, like,
I think it's 90.
Yeah, it's like a job seekers visa type thing that they've done, where
That's
they allow
right.
you to stay for 90 days.
That's right.
So that kind of maps now, right? So you got 3 months of this 60% salary plus a 90-day visa. So in theory, you would like to think that will give you enough chance to give yourself the opportunity to maybe get another job or get a freelance visa and then start hustling, or whatever it might be,
And there are some exemptions, and unfortunately, Vic, me and you are both exempt from them. So, but we'll talk about that offline. But yeah, the statuses that we have, we don't get that extra Extra love. Okay, great. So that's pro UAE. There's another pro UAE story here as well.
Yeah, so Dubai recently announced an 8.7 trillion economic plan to boost trade and investment. So again,
trillion
year,
US dollars.
Sorry, yeah, of course, sorry, trillion US dollars, which is huge. Like it's huge. If it was in dirhams, that's a different story. But dollars is huge here. Now, last year we spoke a lot about Dubai, UAE in general, coping the last 2-3 years, what it's doing to visas and attracting people. And this again is just another huge feather that they've got to really like become one of the world's leading economic places, like one of the world's leading cities that can compete with anyone across the globe. So
let's just state what the goal is here. The end goal here is to become a top 3 global economy, which is
top 3 global economy.
Which is, I mean, talk about that from an economic perspective is the equivalent of wanting to have a Burj Khalifa. Like that's really saying we want to mark, our space in the global economy. There's no reason why we can't, as the markets move east. The center point of gravity for the world, which used to be Western Europe, that sat between the Americas and Africa. So, London, Paris were important markets. Now, as China becomes more important, the middle moves, and the middle has literally moved to the Middle East because you've got Russia, India, and China, 3 of the BRIC economies that are basically down the road from us, very accessible, geopolitical issues aside. And this is a big thing to put in the ground. Now it's over 10 years. And to your point as well, Vic, converting it to dirhams, it's about 32 billion dirhams.
Yeah.
Like handkerchief maths. So I'm just reading the CNBC story here. So we're now looking at, maybe 3 billion dirhams a year.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
It's still a good chunk of change.
Yeah, it's massive. And I think it's not just about the number, the whole number. It's about what it signals, and it's about the intent. It's about the plans laid down. Now, they treat the UAE like a business. Dubai is treated like the leaders treat it like a business, and this is a business plan, essentially. And as long as they hit their markers, they're going to hit their goals. They always try and aim really big, and they generally hit their goals, or at least very close to. So there's like 100 transformational projects that they've laid out, but the kind of big ones are digital transformation. So looking at 100 billion dirhams worth of annual contribution to digital transformation programs, or transformation projects to Dubai's economy. A big one is foreign trade. So 14.2 trillion dirhams now. 25.6 trillion for goods and services in the next decade for foreign trade. Foreign direct investment as well. So they're looking at taking it from an average of 32 billion dirhams annually in the past decade to an average of 60 billion annually. So doubling foreign direct investment. What else is there? Private sector investments. So they're looking at about a trillion dirhams of private sector investment in the next decade. So, big swings, Like this is almost like scary stuff, like the numbers that they're talking about.
You know what this is? This is that scene where, when a hero's ready to go and take on the baddie, and then they've got that moment where, they strap all the guns in. Like they put the vest on, then they put the gun in the left, then they put one gun in their shoe and a knife in their sleeve. This is that because, we've got the alcohol story. We've got the fact that just a year ago, the UAE moved to a Western calendar working week, Monday to Friday. They're now doing this. It's like, look, everything that we want to change, we will change with, basically either one day's notice or not at all. And this is how we're doing it. And it's really, really incredible to have this level of versatility. And I think it's become even more pronounced now when you compare it to other economies like the UK, which are just, struggling. I know that there are people waiting to get into hospitals there, and they're waiting inside ambulances outside the hospitals from what I'm seeing in multiple news sources. So no, man, the UAE is like really, really kicking off. I remember one time a few years ago. This was maybe 2018, 2019. I used to make a lot of content about Dubai. I think I was doing Dubai around that time. And had this series on Facebook, and I was like, you should come to Dubai today. And one person texted me and said, yo, don't tell people to come to Dubai because it's just too many people are going to come. Like, not that I'm going to bring hundreds of millions of people, but like just one of the other voices that was very, very pro Dubai. But I mean, these kind of stories, they kind of speak for themselves. They're kind of going viral internationally. And I think there's a real cause for people to come over here, and let's just see how the UK economy performs and some other like more mature markets, and let's see how many people come over. But this is the golden age for the modern golden age for the Middle East. And it really is a 3-horse race. I mean, all respect to Qatar, but we don't really know how that's going to play out. But we are now talking about a 3-horse race, 3 different types of horse: Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and Saudi Arabia, all of which are definitely going to benefit from an increase in oil demand. Plus, China's coming online as well. So they're going to have oil demands as well. So I think we're going to see a lot of money coming into this region. Like, I'm talking about like 2001, 2002 money.
Yeah, but then they're also not relying on oil money. They know that it's somewhat of a volatile commodity. I mean, there is stability, but there is volatility in it as well. But they also realize that at some point they've got to divest away from just relying on oil money, and that's why they're doing what they're doing. That's why they're taking these big swings across all different industries and all different segments. And the other thing that they're doing, I've talked about tourism, people coming in, trying to like attract tourists and people to come and live here and work here, but they're also trying to, get the local, the local Emiratis into work as well. So they're integrating 65,000 young Emiratis into the job market through, grad schemes and various things like that, and through Emiratization. And even in Saudi, they're doing Saudiization as well. So, there is this kind of, they want to cultivate their people as well and make sure that everyone prospers across the region. So yeah, man, listen, it's a great time to be in the Middle East, man. And if you're not here, then if you're thinking about, it's not quite what I want where you are right now, and there's not enough opportunity or anything like that, maybe have one eye on the Middle East and see what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, rounding up the Middle East as well. Story coming out of Saudi about Ronaldo. I'm not a football fan at all. Alex, I'm going to hand over to this one. Make me care about this one, my friend, because I mean, obviously I care. It's the world's biggest, football guy for what he does. But like, what's happened here? He can't join Al Nassr, the football team, because there's too many foreign guys playing.
No, so he's joined. He's already at the club confirmed. He's there in Saudi right now, training with the team and everything. Now, there was a 2-game ban that was placed on him. So he wasn't able to play, I think on Friday it was, and he won't be able to play for the next game.
Why? He just started.
Yeah, exactly. So that's due to a suspension from the Premier League for knocking a phone out of a fan's hand, which happened super long ago. And they just suspended him for it. So that transfers over to whatever league you're in. So he has to take that 2-match ban. And then another issue is they had to remove a foreign player out of the team, because in Saudi Arabian Football League, you're only allowed to have 7 foreign players per team. And with Ronaldo there, that would be the 8th. So they had to remove one.
Who'd they remove?
Whoever got bumped must be gutted.
Yeah, they removed a guy called Abu Bakar.
Is he good? Where's he from?
Good question. I'm not sure where he's from. But it's funny. I think Ronaldo also took his jersey number.
Oh my God, this.
Yeah. But I mean, it's in terms of Ronaldo.
That's number 7, right?
Yeah, number 7. Yeah. But in terms of Ronaldo going to Saudi Arabia, like $200 million contract every year, like it's just ridiculous numbers.
What happens to Abu? I'm really curious about Abu Bakar now. Like, is he allowed to go and play for somebody else right now, or is he going to be selling shisha in Business Bay?
No. I'm sure they'll just remove his contract and he'll be able. Then he's a free agent, right? He can just go to any club that wants to sign him. But yeah,
so,
I mean,
why do you think he's taken the move? Why do you think Ronaldo's done this move?
Well, I mean, when you're offered 200 million, I think 1, it's hard to refuse. 2, No club wanted him because he's too expensive for a 38-year-old player. So like a normal club which would much rather pay a much cheaper fee for a 20-year-old who has room to improve and at the club and everything. And yeah, I don't know. I think Saudi also did a move in terms of tourism and pushing football out because they're going to try and go for the World Cup. So they're trying to make Ronaldo the face of that to bring a lot of attention to Saudi Arabia. And yeah, I think he's just there also that in his contract, there's an agreement that if a team in the Premier League called Newcastle, who's also owned by a Saudi Arabian investment company, if they place in the top four, then the team would be able to go to Champions League next season, and automatically Ronaldo goes to that club to be able to play in Europe for that season. So it's not like Ronaldo had this idea in mind. He's like, I'm not going to give up everything to go play in Saudi. At least give me the opportunity to go back to Europe.
I mean, look, technically speaking, it's not the opportunity to go back to Europe. It's going to play for Newcastle in the Champions League. It's not like, Manchester United, right? Or Sporting, so.
Yeah, but my biggest issue is that even if Newcastle do finish top four, the Newcastle squad does not want Ronaldo, right? Because they have a whole system around them. They have tactics. They've been playing together. Putting in Ronaldo, even though he's a very good player, Ronaldo needs a team where everything is built around him. And you can't just come into a team and have that happen right away. It's just not possible.
So on that, actually, I was thinking about this. Do you think, I think a big part of this is kind of quote unquote ego and legacy combined, where he's like ego in terms of highest paid, biggest kind of, check for a football player, and then legacy of let me take this team from here to here, from low to high, and then be the ambassador and bring the World Cup to Saudi. And that's kind of on his shoulders. So there's those two things. But on that note around everything being built around him, or everything kind of around him in the team, because of his age, because of his price point, do you think that teams wouldn't take him on because they're like, well, hold on, we've got other stars that we need to cultivate over a longer period of time and make everything around them, whereas Ronaldo's only got a short period of time until he effectively retires from professional football. So that wouldn't make sense for him to be able to for any club to take him on and go, okay, well, we're gonna then just ignore the players that come after him because he's going to be with them for a couple of years, and the players after him will be like, well, we've just missed our window,
Yeah, no, for sure. I completely agree. And it's not that younger players need teams built around them, because having a Ronaldo is like a 1 in a million. There's nobody like him, but it's just about building systems around players. And Ronaldo was never a player who went into a system and followed that system. The systems were always built around him and how he played.
Yeah, well, let's see how he turns out. Obviously, this is a huge deal for the Middle East. Again, we're talking about the Middle East, and he's going to be here a lot. I think he's going to be out in Dubai a lot.
I'm
so
sure. I don't know how much there is to do in Saudi for Ronaldo. So we'll see.
Well, apparently his compound has everything in it, that he owns or that's there kind of thing. So he'll be fine. I'm sure he'll be fine.
It's actually funny seeing the media report on all of this, because I saw a TikTok video of showing Ronaldo's mansion in Saudi Arabia, and it was a video of the Emirates Palace. And
oh, was it?
Yeah, it was a video of the Emirates Palace.
That's
and they fooled everyone, because if you don't know the Emirates Palace, then sure, you're gonna accept that Ronaldo, that's his mansion, right?
Oh, mate,
it's just funny.
That's so whack.
Yeah.
Well,
says the guy that went to a villa on a beautiful island for a teenager's birthday. Crazy things have happened.
Am I supposed to refuse the invitation?
No, never that. No, you should be extending it. Never mind refusing it.
Exactly.
All right. Okay. Speaking of invitations, let's get a couple of these done real quick, because I was thinking, guys, I was gonna pitch at you on the show. Obviously, we get a lot of free stuff and nice stuff. So I was thinking, because we don't have adverts, maybe we should make our adverts something that somebody has done nice for us that week. So that becomes the ad.
So like a bigger shout out, I guess.
Yeah. And then maybe
Like
we
a
put
shout out, but it's
maybe we
like
put like a little bit
structured.
we put a little bit of bed music under it and we frame it differently. So we go something along the lines of like, this week's algo is brought to you by, and then they don't necessarily have to sponsor us, but typically people that give us free stuff give us a lot of like expensive free stuff. So like we can just kind of like take that value, that dirham value, and then really give them some love on the podcast. What do you reckon?
I think that's a good idea.
Okay, so not Vic. So Alex, you're gonna have to then find a bit of audio that you can put underneath when I do the ad read, and then I'll do the ad read. I'll do the ad read to be under a minute, which is typical of an ad read. And then what we'll do is we'll take that clip out, and then I'll post that as an IG story, and then tag the brand in.
Sounds like a deal to me.
Okay, so good. So here I'm gonna do the first one right now. So the first one, today's episode of Algo is brought to you by our friend Mazi and the good folks over at Def Jam, because Mazi gave me this wonderful bag, and I went for a lunch this week, and I really needed some very important things to be kept in this bag. I couldn't find normal bag that I carry, but also what came in this bag was a sole purpose hat, which is Mazi's creative movement, and some incense, sole purpose incense, and a sole purpose sticker and QR code. Oh, he's got a record with Jalil Beats that did all that music for Meek Mill as well. So yep, shout out to Soul Purpose and Mazi, one of our sponsors. We've got 2 more to do. We'll drop them in later on. Where are we going next, content wise?
Let's go. Well, that's all the news stories wrapped up, unless you have any more. But we can move on to content recommendations.
Okay.
So, Alex, I know we don't have you for very, very long. So, just in the interest of making sure we get yours out, give us your content recommendations.
Pause.
So, my first one was Avatar: The Way of Water, which I went to go see last week, and I really, really enjoyed the movie. Like, I wouldn't mind to go see it again. It actually really, really impressed me.
Is that why you're wearing a blue top? Is that the way of the water?
I didn't think of it, but sure. Well, I'll go with that. That's why I'm wearing this.
What's the movie about?
Have you?
I remember Avatar 1. He basically jumped on some sort of seahorse, and he had to basically like have sex with the seahorse so that the seahorse would be his. And I was like, this is weird.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think this movie is for Raj. He's just gonna roast everything that happens in the movie.
Yeah.
No, but it's just their kingdom gets overtaken. They have to move, and things happen. Of course, I don't want to ruin it for anybody who's listening, though.
I don't know if I'm gonna watch it. The kingdom has its rent go up by 20%, and they have to move.
Let's say that,
just to put a Dubai angle on it.
Basically, I have to move to Mira. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a good film.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I think
why is it a good film?
Yeah, I think the most impressive thing is that when you're watching, you have to realize that everything is CGI. Like nothing you're seeing is real. And like it's so impressive that you can make a 3.5-hour movie that literally looks like real life, but nothing is real.
James Cameron, right?
Yeah, James Cameron. Yeah, and they've already started filming 3 and 4, which is amazing. I think they come out in 2024 and then 2026.
Yeah.
So 2 years apart. So yeah, that'll be exciting.
Jessel on the Algo group said that this is the year of the decade of Avatar. True?
Yeah. Well, he said it in episode 50. He was a big proponent. I mean, I'm not a fan of the Avatar movie, but there is, I can't argue against what he said. There is no denying it's going to be huge, and it is huge, and it will continue to be huge. And James Cameron might become a billionaire as a result of these Avatar series because he owns all the tech. Yeah. He built and owned all the tech for the CGI. Obviously he'll have plenty on the kind of back end rights and royalties. So yeah, he's probably going to become a billionaire off the back of this series.
I think the franchise already, the Avatar 2 alone already hit 1.5 billion in revenue. Wow. And then I saw a headline that in the next week or 2, it should hit 2 billion, which is like wild to think of.
That's a madness, man. That's such a madness.
You know what's crazy as well? Like the actual, if you were to actually apply a multiple valuation, like a company, you're basically talking about a company that's going to be the size of Snapchat. Like Avatar as a franchise could be valued at the same size as a Snapchat. Because if it's doing 2 million in gross revenue, like that's insane. And then you take what the margin is on that, and then you were to apply like a tech multiple to it, you'd be like, okay, well, that's just box office sales. So you've also got this other unaddressed revenue, whether it be merch, whether it be licensing, whether it be XYZ. It's like, hang on a second, the franchise is worth, you can basically add an extra zero to the billions that you got there. You might be able to take it to north of 10 billion. And that's on a 5x multiple.
And it's not unheard of. I mean, you think about Harry Potter's worth 25 billion, like the whole the whole world, the whole Harry Potter world. But then you're talking about, live experiences, merch, etc. And Avatar's got all the potential to do that, particularly on the live side, right? Harry Potter has like the tours and all that kind of stuff. Avatar can do exactly the same thing. It can create its own world in real life and become 10, 15 billion easy.
Yeah, easily, I think.
But how in real life if the whole thing is CGI, unless you do like a Cirque du Soleil, but it's made of AR or something? Like when Apple released their AR glasses in the next few weeks or next couple of months, maybe you can go to a theater with your Apple glasses and watch an Avatar style experience.
No, but you can recreate
but like,
the world.
Yeah, you can recreate the world. And then so you take the Harry Potter tour, for example, you go through the castle and the different like classrooms, and they've made the sets like they are in the movies. So all you're doing is touring like what is effectively the set. So they could do something similar with Avatar and then have all the creatures and, be like, like Jurassic Park, like the dinosaurs in like the Universal Studios and all that kind of stuff. So they can create that. It can be a ride on a theme park. There could be like 100 things that they could do,
Yeah, actually, to be honest, I've fully experienced that already because I went to the set of Coronation Street at Granada TV Studios in the 80s. So I fully get it. I was in the pub and I saw like all the bitter pint glasses. Okay, good.
In
perfect.
The Rover's Return.
Yeah, in Rover's Return. So now that you've helped me understand, I can already say that I've been there and I've done that. Okay, next. What else?
Another content recommendation I had is the new movie that came out on Netflix called Glass Onion.
Okay, what's it about?
And so there's two. There's Knives Out 1, which is
I don't want to hear it.
Don't say.
I banned everybody speaking about Knives Out.
I'm not gonna say anything, but just I think I'll end it with this. Just Knives Out 1 is better than Glass Onion, which is Knives Out 2.
Yeah, which is what I've heard. Okay, so just so I'm clear, and I'm glad because I've been meaning to ask people this, but everybody I wanted to ask, I feared of being an idiot, and without knowing, they'll just tell me what it is. But in terms of the actual search term of the video I need to go and see, is it called Knives Out, Knives Out 1? What's it called? Knives Out.
If you want to watch the first one, just look up Knives Out, and then the second one is called Knives Out: Glass Onion.
Great. Okay, now where is Knives Out 1 being shown right now?
Knives Out 1 is not on Netflix in the UAE. You'd have to stream it somewhere.
Okay, is it on Netflix in other markets?
Good question, but I feel like I saw it when I was in Amsterdam. When I was there, I think I saw it on Netflix.
Can you trust anything that you've seen in Amsterdam?
Yes.
Called Knives Out, called Knives Out,
yeah.
So Knives Out, Raj, Knives Out came out in like 2019. I've seen it, by the way, and it is phenomenal. Such a great movie.
What is it, a movie?
I haven't seen the sequel yet. Yeah. It's a whodunit movie, like a murder mystery, and Daniel Craig is brilliant in it. And then the next one is called Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery, which is a sequel, different storyline, different plot line. The only character that's the same as Daniel Craig, right?
Yeah, you don't even need to watch the first one to understand.
Yeah, but I would.
Yes, I definitely would as well. But you don't like.
Yeah.
It's not like something you have to watch the first one to understand the second.
Okay, well, Knives Out 1 is going to be on my to-do list at some point this week. Recession, so I'm going to be spending a lot more time at home anyway. All right, good, perfect. Any more content recommendations?
I saw Vic put this, but Kaleidoscope, because I finished it today.
Oh, okay. Khalees's first album.
That's the one, yeah.
Vic,
I hate you so much right now. Yeah, I finished it the other night.
What is it?
So Kaleidoscope. Okay, so I'll explain. So Kaleidoscope is a heist series. I think there's 9 or 10 episodes, I can't remember. And each episode is number one, a color. So it's a color in the kaleidoscope. So black, white, green, yellow, orange, pink, whatever, blue. And each episode is a different moment in the timeline around the heist. So everything is centered around this heist that happens. And one episode might be 24 years before the heist. One episode might be 5 weeks before the heist. One episode might be 5 months after the heist. One might be the heist itself. One is whatever. So it's different timelines around the heist, all centered around the heist. What's interesting is that they've written it so well, they've done it so well that until you get to the end of all 9 episodes, you don't know what's happened in its entirety. Even if you see what happens the day after the heist, there's still so many unanswered questions that you have to watch it to the end to figure out why certain things happened. That's one thing. The second thing that's really interesting.
Wait, without any spoilers, because the second one sounds like it's going to go deeper in the movie or deeper in the series. Is there any spoilers on this one?
No, I'm not giving any spoilers.
Okay.
Yeah. This is the other thing. So the other thing about this whole thing is that every Netflix account will be served those episodes in a different order.
White being always.
What's that?
The episode called White always being last.
Yeah, so white is last, black is first. And then everything in between it could be just whatever order. So I might watch black, pink, blue, green, yellow, orange, white. And then you might watch black, blue, green, pink, whatever. So you'll watch it in a completely different order to me, apart from the first and the last episode. So it's really interesting that the way
black, blue, pink, and white is basically like Alex's browser history when he's in Amsterdam anyway. Black goes first, ends with white. and
then Knives Out as a sub, yeah. so
disgusting.
And Giancarlo Esposito is the star of it. He's the guy. If you remember Breaking Bad, he was the chicken guy.
Oh, brilliant. I love him. He's awesome.
He's brilliant. So he's in that. He's like the lead guy. So this is really good. It's really, really worth taking the time out to watch. And all the episodes are like different lengths, like 40 minutes here, 20 minutes, whatever. But it's really good. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I was gonna kind of diss it.
Oh, go on. Hit us.
Because I don't know. I think personally, like the idea was there. The idea is great. But I don't think the execution, it could have been better. I think first of all, white shouldn't be last, because if you're watching,
wait, don't spoil. Did I just freeze him?
He's frozen. See how bad his review is. That Zoom froze him. They didn't want no one wants to hear what he has to say about this.
Zoom is frozen for a second time on the group chat. I just got a message. I guarantee he's going to say that Zoom kicked him out. He goes, "My Zoom crashed." God damn. You know what? He was probably about to ruin it for us anyway, so it's all good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as soon as he comes back, we'll let him back on. Do you
want to give your content recommendations?
Yeah. No. I think what we should do is we should be quite smart, and when we bring him back on, we'll be like, okay. So yeah, okay. So then. So that's basically Kaleidoscope. So on that basis alone, Vic, just based on what you just said, Vic, I'm going to give it to you. Your argument against what Alex said is so perfect that actually Kaleidoscope is worth watching, and Alex is an idiot. So, okay, good. Cool. Alex, I don't know if you missed that bit or what happened, but we'll figure that out. I
definitely did miss that bit.
You'll have to come back, and this will give you an incentive to listen to the podcast for once. And then maybe that could be a segue to even introducing it to your friends. So, okay, good. Excellent. Couple of content recommendations. I don't know when you two guys get so much freaking time to like just live happy town and watch like TV shows and movies. My content recommendations are Chamath Palihapitiya at MIT. He did a great talk. You do not need the video because the video is terrible. What they did on the video when Chamath was doing this fireside interview was that the whole video is the slide, which is being projected in the back. and then the little corner bit, the tiny corner, which is maybe 1/30th of the screen, where it's when you're on Zoom. And if I was to like share my screen right now, how all the video goes up to the top right corner, that's the bit that they are. And I'm not a petty guy, and I don't believe it's worth trolling people or ever being an asshole. But I literally wrote in the YouTube comments, isn't the T in MIT meant to stand for technology? What the fuck is this video? So, but the content is absolutely brilliant. Especially there's this one bit where he talks about what it takes to be a successful venture capitalist. And he talks about obviously having a thesis and then the power rule and all these other bits and pieces. But when he's laying out step by step, at the beginning, he just trivially talks about being able to generate heat around your personal brand. And then he loops back to it and he goes, you will not be able to be a successful venture capitalist unless you've got heat around your personal brand. That's how you attract the deals. So he's got a nice bit on it, which is incredible. And I really love when people like him or David Friedberg on the All In podcast, when people that are much more achieved than us when it comes to financially speak our thesis, they speak the way that we speak when it comes to content. And funnily enough, I think both the people we spoke to today, right, Vic, were interested in launching funds. Yeah, they were.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
So and it's so funny. We had these kind of like not pitches, but like these warm introductions that we were given at the agency to reach out to some powerful business people to help them with their strategy. And we mentioned this Chamath interview with both of them. So highly recommended. Go check it out. It came out a few days ago. And then also I would recommend another very interesting interview, new series, which looks like the intention is for it to compete with the All In podcast, which is the All In podcast now obviously is on any given day is like the 16th biggest podcast in the world. And considering how nerdy it is, that's incredible. It's a new podcast called Moment of Zen. Who's seen it? Have any of you guys seen it, or are you just too busy watching Avatar or something?
I have not seen it.
Okay, Vic?
Not seen it either. No, I've not seen it either. I know you put it in the group chat, but I've not seen it yet. The first episode is with Mark Andreessen, right?
Yeah, so he's in episode 1 and in episode 3. So I don't know if he's like a little hop on, hop off guy, but let me just read out to you some of the people that are in here. Moment of Zen with Mark Andreessen, and it's on SBF and FTX. And here's the people that are on it. Eric Torenberg from Village Global on deck. Antonio Garcias Martinez from Spindle. And guys, I know none of you guys like follow me on Twitter, but I tweeted this out. This guy's name is Dan Romero. Okay, Dan Romero is this guy who I'm just showing up on my screen right now. He's come from a company called Farcaster. I don't know the guy from A Hole in the Wall. This guy's next. This guy's next in venture capital media. He has the brains of Chamath and the looks of Jim Halpert from The Office. This is probably the best looking human being I've ever seen in technology in 20 years that I've ever done it. Like, I was like, this guy's going to shut down the media industry. He is so bright. Every time he spoke on camera, he had a brilliant point. And I think he's basically going to become a sex symbol. And he's married. So I think that's going to increase his appeal even more. But a brilliant show. Mark's on episode 1 and episode 3. And definitely worth checking out. It could be a nice little, something to put in between All In. It's not as if This Week in Startups coming out every day is not a nice filler anyway, but this is it's a great show, highly recommended. And again, just VC guys, it's nowhere near as good as All In, just to be super clear on that. Nowhere near as good as All In, because they just talk the way that we do. There's no moderator, and you really realize how valuable it is to have Jason Calacanis as a moderator. But that's it. That's my content recommendations. I think I've only got 2. Yeah, then we had Glass Onion, Avatar, and Kaleidoscope. Anything else for this week?
No, that's it from me. I've been really behind on my podcast and everything just from being away. But
well, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
That was one of the talking points. Tell us about. Vic wasn't on the show for a long time. He was traveling. He was over in Bali, which is one of my favorite places. A place where I believe that if people tell you about it, people that talk to you about Bali, if you've not been, the people talking to you sound like psychopaths. And now you've been. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fully sold. Fully sold in Bali.
Drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, fully drank the Kool-Aid. I think so.
What do you like about it?
So we spent 2 weeks there.
Mhm.
I guess the overarching theme for Bali is two things. There's lots and lots of things, but in terms of kind of like a general high level thing, the first thing is that it's just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful island. Like it's just like, everything about it is, even like the rougher parts are really beautiful. That's the first thing. The second thing is the people are just friendly, welcoming, warm, open, just like full of faith, full of happiness, and no fear at all. It's not a crime ridden place. It's just like those are the kind of two main things. Like it's a beautiful place filled with beautiful people that are welcoming. But then taking it a few layers down, we started off in a place called Bingin, which is in the south of the island, not far from Uluwatu, like maybe, I don't know, like a 10-minute drive from the edge of Uluwatu. And Bingin is like a surfer's paradise. There's like beach after beach where it's just surfing and everyone's just riding around on mopeds. It's like more kind of local, small. There's no like main roads. There's like no like main streets. It's like in the bushes, in the jungle. You'll drive 3 minutes and there's a little restaurant, and you'll drive 10 minutes and there's like a little bar, and there's this, that, and the other. It's not busy. It's not crazy, but it's just full of amazing people, like beautiful looking people, just surfing and doing CrossFit and just eating good food. And then, we spent some time there. Then we went to Seminyak. Seminyak, I wasn't the biggest fan of. It was great, like loads of beautiful bars, loads of beautiful restaurants. Again, people are great, but I just found it was a bit too touristy and a bit too busy. And it rained for 5 days while we were there, so that didn't help at all.
Lucky.
And then we did an overnight in Ubud, spent 2 days in an overnight in Ubud. Loved Ubud. Ubud was really busy, but didn't feel hectic, didn't feel crazy. Felt much more like the people were like much more into like their yoga and their Zen and all that kind of stuff. And you kind of get a sense of that. But yeah, overall, man, like Bali's no joke, man. We need, like, my wife and I, Shayla, we've been talking about it. We want to go back. We want to explore other parts of the island. There's a lot to see, and we only scratched the surface. But yeah, man, there's no person on earth that I wouldn't recommend goes and just checks out Bali once.
Nice.
I still need to get out there. Still haven't been out there.
When are we going, Alex? When are we going drone shooting out there?
Dude, I don't know. Whenever. This summer?
This summer might be tight. My summer's kind of already spoken for.
Then
but
next summer.
I could do Q1 next year, but you'll be at.
Yeah, I'm in uni, so I only have even my winter break isn't long. So it's literally like the only time I can actually travel is summer.
What about Easter?
Easter, I don't know. I don't have my schedule yet for second half of the year. Q1 and Q2 of this year.
No, Easter next year. Easter 24.
Oh, next year. Ooh, maybe. I don't know though. I don't have my schedule that far in
advance. He doesn't even know. He doesn't even know if he's still going to be in uni in 2024. Let's at least ride this out first. You know what I mean?
It's just speaking now.
Are you enjoying uni? Are you going to stick out for a few years?
Yeah. No, so far I'm enjoying it. I think like, because I didn't really enjoy high school, like now that I'm able to pick what I'm learning and I'm going into a field that I like enjoy, it's a lot easier to like work and study.
Nice, good. Well, that's good to know. So that was Vic. He was away in Bali. Highly recommended. And also I think I can imagine Seminyak during peak tourist time could be a little bit on top, but I'm glad you got a chance to see it. I was out and about at the same time as well. I took the same time off that Vic did, and I was just moving and grooving around the city. Hit up some of my favorite spots again. Number one, I went back to Daikan on, what's the island called, Vic? In Abu Dhabi?
Island.
Yas Island. What's it called? Beachfront? Waterfront?
No, it's called
Waterfront.
What's the Hilton thing called again? I've forgotten. Yeah.
No, but that bay area that they've created is, I think it's called Yas Bay. Yas Bay Waterfront.
It's called Yas Bay.
Yeah. YBW. They've got a big hashtag of that. So definitely go check it out. Went to Akibadori. had an incredible pizza, perfect, and then went to the other side of the block and went to Daikan. It was superb, incredible. Back here in Dubai, I went back to Around the Block again. We spoke about this on a previous podcast, spoke about it on a podcast with Neil. But I went back there again. They've got their BRGR concept, burger concept. And then I went back for the first time in a long time, Victor, Meyzan 15 near you. And it remains
outstanding, man.
Yeah, it just remains just brilliant gourmet food, extremely high-end food and coffee. And they smashed it. Now, a couple of special ones. Went back to Moon Slice. Again, I said this before with certain restaurants. I believe that every restaurant in Dubai is in an abusive relationship with Tasha's. I also believe that every restaurant in Dubai is in an abusive relationship with Moon Slice. The extent to how perfect they got the food, the service, the ingredients, the timing. That restaurant is a 10. It's an absolute gem. It's a phenomenal injustice that more people don't talk about it. But at the same sense, every time I've gone, I've been able to get a table. In fact, me and Ine even did a boys' night there, or boys' day there one time. But it's incredible, the food they've got. The pizzas are insane. And they've got this mushroom pasta as well, which is well worth driving from any part of Dubai to go and eat that. And then we did a couple of special things as well. Namely, Vic, we were out the other night in and around the Jumeirah area, and we were hungry. So I always said I was going to do this because I spoke at an event over the summer called F Up Nights, and I was on a panel being interviewed with a guy called Chef Akmal. So I reached out to him. I sent him a text. I said, "Yo, we're in the area. We want to come by and eat at your restaurant, which is called Goldfish, which is in Galleria. And it's kind of like sushi, clay pots. What else did they have, Vic? They had some phenomenal food, right?
Yeah, it was mainly focused around like sushi and clay pots, like this Japanese kind of concept.
Oh, and ceviche as well.
They had ceviche, yeah.
Yeah.
That was good.
So Michelin's got a Michelin nod in there as well. What do you think of the food?
Yeah, the food was outstanding. I mean, that salmon ceviche was great.
Yeah.
The tuna was really good, but had truffle on it, so that kind of put me off. And the salmon sushi was really good as well.
Yeah. But you know what he smashed it is the white. So obviously Vic doesn't like truffle, but there was a white fish that they brought out in a clay pot that was so good. And when they opened that up, so the chef Akmal actually texted me and said, "Order this." So we did, and it was out of this world. Really, really good. Well worth it. Probably somewhere you want to go when it's like a special event, because there's a lot of effort that's gone into that food. It's not like the place where you just like pull up on some chill stuff. If you're a foodie who appreciates effort, you should go there. And I want to shout out Chef Akmal and the whole team over there, because we were celebrating a birthday that night. They made it super special. They sent out a couple of little kind of like dishes on the restaurant, which I thought was incredibly nice, because they actually chose superb dishes that we really enjoyed. They sent out a tuna, didn't they? A really delicious tuna steak.
Yeah, they sent out it was like a grilled tuna.
Damn good.
That was outstanding. Yeah, it was really
and it looked beautiful. So that was incredible. So huge shout out to Chef Akmal. Thank you. Wonderful experience. We'll definitely be back there. Going to save it for a special occasion. And then next up as well, we also hit up Roya, the pre-opening of Roya. So Roya's back. Shout out to our friend Claudia Neem Shetty, who invited us down for the pre-opening. And I went down there and timed it incredibly well, because our friend Anika Majaria was in town. She's not been around for quite some time. She's been out in the US. So she's back, and we went out there to have a lovely meal with her husband, Trent, and my friend Neda. So they absolutely smashed it. Roya has not dropped a beat at all. I used to go to the Roya in London, and I went to the Roya in Grosvenor House before COVID, and it was just phenomenal. Everything they brought out was phenomenal. But they've got like these like reshaped melon salads, and all of the meats were incredible. It was just phenomenal. Highly recommended. Roya's new location, by the way, is St. Regis, the Palm. So as soon as you walk into the St. Regis, instead of going right to Sushi Samba, you go left to the 3rd floor, and that's where it is. Really intimate unit with space for about 180 people outside. Definitely recommend going to check out Roya. And then finally, House of Janos, which we invited to, which was our friend Farai. His whole crew smashed it down at Seoul DXB. And then they said to us at Seoul DXB, hey, listen, December 30th, we've got some DJs coming to town and we'd like to have a table for Love Soul. So I went down there with the gang, Sal and a few others, and we had an incredible night. So, I mean, what this guy Farai is trying to build right now in terms of entertainment, it's really on a different level. I mean, I'll make a little micro clip right now for my Instagram, but like the level of entertainment that they put on at House of Janos was just like mind blowing, because it had that kind of like gritty undergroundness of like almost like the beginning of garage with like the hype of like a theater show. It was incredible. So I think House of Janos in 2023 is one of the brands to keep an eye on. And I just want to give a big shout out to all the DJs in the city that have really kind of taken the bull by the horns and done stuff that we've done for many years now. But like, shout out to Corey and Crown Prince with Just Friends. I've been to that event. It's incredible. Rework that Mixed Feelings are doing. These DJs now are actually like building brands, building communities, collecting data, staying in contact with their people, and then paying out their own pocket to put together these incredible videos, which is the thesis that I've been preaching for a long time, like 15 years. And that now exists here with some really innovative DJs in Dubai. So congratulations to all of them. But House of Janos, I think it happens once a month. You must follow them on Instagram. You have to go to one of their parties. It was insane. And I think that's it. Alex, you got to go, right?
Yeah, we're good though. It's fine. It's just 10 minutes past 5. We're good.
Okay, good. So then we may as well do our outros. Vic, have we forgot anything?
Yeah, just the shout outs. You had a couple of shout outs.
Yes, big shout out to this week I got to hang out with our friends at Created by Black, Che and Dr. Peter. Big up to them. We had an ideation session, did some strategy work. Big up to them for always coming back to work with CCA. And I just love, having these sessions with them. So it was great to see them this week. Huge shout out to Chef Akmal and the whole team for the incredible food over at Goldfish. It was insane. Again, that tuna is highly recommended. This place has got a Michelin nod. You have to go and check out their food. It's insane. Galleria in Jumeirah, and a massive shout out to Claudia and the whole team over at Roya, which is now opened in St. Regis. Phenomenal food, highly recommended. So I want to give those people a huge shout out, and shout out to you guys as well for I know you've had a tricky schedule, Vic, and pretty exhausted. So big up to you guys, and yeah, let's make 2023 an incredible one, man.
Yeah, I've got a shout out as well. I want to shout out our friends Nick and Sarah. So when we were out in Bali, the first week of our holiday, we went out there with some friends, Nick and Sarah, and they've got a kid who's in his age and they're friends as well. And they were involved in a big kind of house and techno festival out in Bali. And it's the first one. So on the second day, which is the day after we landed, they took us out with them, full VIP treatment, full, all access treatment for us and for the kids, until, God knows what time at night. And they really kind of held it down for us. And we spent, a whole week with them. So a big shout out to Nick and Sarah for that holiday and specifically that festival.
Nice. Speaking of house and stuff, I know I'm late on this. I think, Alex, you even told me you've followed this or been to see this guy before, but this week was the first time I saw Fred again, Boiler Room. Have you seen it before, Alex?
Yeah. I've watched it multiple times.
How good is that?
I genuinely, I think it's the best DJ set I've watched. I'm not like I've watched as many as you have, but I think it's the best one I've watched.
Well, I was going to say, I've always been in love with the EZ set, but the EZ set, the quality is not so great. There's a few mess ups in it. Like, the technology lets him down a little bit, but what he did creatively there just breathed another decade into garage. And I said to Vic today, when I was watching that Fred again, I was like, this might be on par, if not slightly better, because of the fact that he's hitting the drum pads. So yeah, man, that's actually a bit of a low-key like content recommendation. Go find Fred again at Boiler Room. And then also when it comes to shout-outs as well, obviously Vic, Alex, shout out to you guys, and Arjun, Bal, Jessel, Kish, who's going to be joining us on the show to do a special OPP, other people's podcasts, Kyron, Neil, Sal, and Wes. Alex, any shout-outs?
I want to say shout out to like all my friends that I got to see back here. It was nice. Been like probably the longest I'd gone without seeing them. Actually, no, same amount of time as last year, but it's just always nice to like meet up back in Abu Dhabi, like we're in high school, just chilling.
Nice. Big up to all your friends. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed the first official episode of ALGO. You know, like Vic said, informally, we've kind of had it as a sub brand, but now we're here. ALGO, a lot going on, the Raj Cassette Show, #1 podcast in Dubai. And if you can share this with some people, we think it is the best show really that we've ever made. And we do cover a lot in it as well. So there's something for everyone. If you know somebody who would find something useful in this show, hit that share button. If you're watching on any of the major platforms, including Spotify, we would love for you to head up into the top left corner, give us a 5-star rating. 5-star rating and review on Apple also helps us get discovered. And then comments, likes, and all that good stuff on YouTube is also great. We've got a hardcore community, probably barely touching 3 figures, maybe 100 people. And we spend more time on these 100 people, the ALGO community, in the last year than we've spent on any of our other communities, including my friends, your friends, on a time versus number of people in the audience basis. But I think you can expect some interesting things from ALGO moving forward, including merch and other things like that. If you want to give us your feedback, you can also send us DMs on Instagram. Vic, what's your DM?
It's at Vic Mojaria, VIKMORJARIA.
And yours, Alex?
Alex Christoph, ALEXCHRISTOPHE.
Wicked. And I'm Raj Kotecha, RAJKOTCHA. Thanks so much for checking out the show. It feels good to be back. Happy 2023, everyone. And we'll see you next week. Peace.